Look. It would be fucking amazing right now. Okay, let's do this. Oh. Achieved the goal. Don't know what that means. This is so cute. In love. What are we doing? That's right. Logistics. Done this. No, we're upgrading our furnaces for that. So furnaces are now that, but we need them to be diamond. Diamonds. Then obsidian. We can do obsidian, I think. Yeah, we can. Right, so we need glass and diamonds. Take diamonds. And that. Glass, that. Plus photos. What's the next emerald? Emerald? There we go. We have Obby. I think we got some here. We got more though. Where else? Check this one. Nope. 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 We can do a couple. Assuming the same. Oop. Blaze. Fuck, we need blaze rods. Fuck it, let's go. Okay. We could just use emerald furnaces for now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we got emerald furnaces. And then we're gonna shove in. What the hell? How did you get in there? Okay, we're going to go to the nether first. First up, I want to get anything else that we need going in this thing. What else do we need? Okay, we've got that. Yeah, we need incubation circuit. First quartz. And an inscriber. First quartz. And a inscriber. I don't know. Pascal. We'll take some gold. Yeah, I'll take some gold. We'll find more gold though. Not that worried. Oh wait, the spawn system way too high, that's right. I'll build a base out here, don't worry. I'll use this another. Why is it not let me kill him? I can't kill these guys, man. Jesus. Shit. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah. We'll keep the water bottle. We should too. Okay. There's something weird there. Oh. Does it blow up? Oh. What's this? Got everything on? Yeah, I got everything on. Please level up our fists. Need a hat. Get a hat. No, this is. Make another one. We'll use that. Let's get across here. this? Crimson oil. This is cool. Oh, I should take these flags. Yeah, I'm gonna take these flags. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This was so sand, spawn the one. Scorer. I don't know what the fuck that's for. Just seriously, oh, that's big, bro. That's big. No. Yeah, that's big stuff right there. I needed to get flight. I need a jetpack. I'll get quartz first. Anything else? Oh, just here. Garage doors, like that. What's this? Looks cool. Anything that looks cool, we're taking. Oh my god, lag, bro. What's this? Where is he? In here? He's in there? There he is. We actually need to farm this. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. Farm this. Mini. Little bubbles. We got 4 blaze rods out of that. It's not bad, it's not good, but whatever. It is what it is. It's not bad. I don't know what Soulspeed does. I'm gonna reboot the server. What achievement did I get to? I have an achievement. Streaming or some shit. Thanks, Streambot. Did my microphone disconnect? According to TikTok Live? But I think it did. How do you...
Hey guys, this is Chosen Architect and welcome to my channel.
What the fuck?
I'm Chosen Architect and today we start All the Mods 10. That in my opinion is definitely sources up and running and also localizing our storage and getting a little bit of processing done. But there's actually been a few things I've missed along the way. Things that I would deem to be pretty darn helpful. For example, the balloon on a stick. Did you know that if you have Zycraft in here, the balloon on the stick has got to be one of the best ways to sort of move around your base, allowing you to have like this portable early game flight. And yes, it is a balloon on a stick tied to a lead. And I don't ask me how it works, but it is. Soren's hilarious for this. And yeah, we can basically go under our base and all that fun stuff. Fly around, helps us get into really tight spaces. But if you go too far, yeah. Well, that is one of the downsides. But it is a really nice sort of localized flight, which I think is helpful when placing pipes and all kinds of other functional things. Believe me, I will be using this quite a bit. But outside of this, some other things I missed when doing our processing of our ores was that, yeah, this is all the mods, and there is a hammer in all the mods that actually makes ore duplication pretty straightforward. We just simply need to make a hammer, and we can take any of our raw iron or raw ore, and we can double it very easily by doing this. And we also basically, we could use this to make steel, right? It does take some durability. So yeah, if you have an iron farm, this is going to be great. And speaking of iron farm, that's another thing that I have yet to set up. But look at this steel recipe, by the way. This makes getting steel early game pretty easy. I think it's just the steel dust, right? Yeah, just some coal, some iron dust, and voila, we have steel. And these things have been in all the mods packs for quite a while. So these are things that you may or may not know. But if you're a first-time player, welcome, by the way. And I'm glad you made it this far through the series. But yeah, you can actually make steel this way, making it a whole lot easier than, for example, getting into mechanism or many other options. Now, speaking of an iron farm, this is going to help us get started with an iron farm. So we do have the Easy Villagers mod in here. And so up top, I have a carrot farmer. This is a farmer block. And then leading directly down into that is a villager breeder from Easy Villagers with 2 villagers placed inside. Then that leads into an incubator, which will then turn the baby villagers faster into adults, and they'll all end up in this barrel. And I'm going to need adult villagers whenever we make the Easy Villagers farm for iron. And that will just supply us with a constant supply of poppies and also iron. So no need to make your standard vanilla iron farm. Yes, they're pretty easy to make, but it's way easier to get the Easy Villagers ones up and running, trust me. Oh, and believe me, we're gonna need a ton of iron, right? Moving forward, because so many mods utilize iron, redstone, and gold as their main components. And so now last episode, I promised you guys tech, but I didn't exactly specify what mod I was gonna be using for tech. And that means we're also going to need to dive into power. And I was thinking there's a lot of options, and I've covered a lot of mechanism, and we'll, yes, dive into mechanism in this pack. But I think for an early starting mod, believe it or not, Ender.io might be one of the best. Now, whoa. Hear me out. The reason I say it's the best is because the generator, the Sterling generator, if you've looted, is actually really good. And yes, I know you're probably screaming at me that the wind generators from Mechanism are definitely great, and I will admit they are fantastic. But I am getting kind of bored of them because I end up using them a lot in just about every mod pack nowadays. And like I said, with Ender.io, if you've looted any, you may have these capacitors. And that base modifier that is on here, the higher the number, the more power that the Sterling generator will produce. And the Sterling generator is not too bad to get, especially if you've looted some dark steel. Now, there's still one more thing that we need to overcome, and that's Grains of Infinity. Now, to get Grains of Infinity, we can automate it with Zycraft, and this is where the extractor plays a pivotal role, honestly, in this pack and just a lot of things moving forward in this pack. But this can basically be used to infinitely generate it. But we have to get it in the first place. And that's where the good old-fashioned method of just simply lighting bedrock on fire is going to work. Now, we could also use regular deep slate, not cobble deep slate, but regular deep slate. But keep in mind, if you do that, the deep slate will then turn into cobblestone, and it's not really renewable. So heading back into my mine, I'm going to go ahead and just start randomly lighting all of the bedrock on fire. What an interesting mechanic. I find this to be a really satisfying one because once this stops becoming fire, once the fire goes out, it pops like popcorn with the most satisfying sound. Oh, it's so good. And with that, there's a chance of us actually getting the Grains of Infinity, as you can see right there. It's such a satisfying sound. Oh, very, very good. And this can be automated, but like I said, I think it's so much better to just use the extractor later on. And man, oh man, it's been a while since I've played around with Ender.io. But I do want to mention, by the way, Ender.io has been updating into this version, and the last time I played with it in these newer versions, it basically didn't have a lot of the features that it currently has now. I would say now it's pretty viable to use for most things. The conduits are now updated. You can now use the conduits for applied energistics and all kinds of other stuff, right? It can handle mechanism gases now. So yes, there's filters for your items. There's speed upgrades for your item pipes. Conduits are back, baby. And you know what? I've kind of missed good old-fashioned Ender.io conduits. And I think this playthrough, I might end up using a lot more of these conduits than trying to go wireless everything. Now, of course, we need that power to get into any of these tech mods, and there it is, the Sterling generator, our first major generator. Now, at the moment, there's not really a built-in guide inside of the quest book and all the mods for Ender.io from what I've seen. So it will be pretty nice for me to help guide you guys potentially through this mod, and it's not too difficult, right? Ender.io has been a staple of modded for a very long time, and there was a long period where Ender.io just didn't exist anymore because it was no longer being updated. That is no longer the case because it is definitely being updated, and all of this stuff has been carried over. And I can't wait to see like if people start making add-ons for this again, because the add-on back in like 1.12 was really good. But we need to look through our capacitors that we've looted here, and we have some really, really good ones. For example, this one right here has the best base modifier, but this one actually has a fuel efficiency modifier, which is really nice as well, and a really high base modifier. Something to note, that base modifier being 3 is the same as the highest tier capacitor that you would actually use inside of this machine. And this is the highest tier that is available as of right now without any add-ons. And notice it's a base 3. This is actually higher than that. So definitely loot these capacitors. And that's why I mentioned these would be really, really helpful. So let's go outside because we don't want our stinky machines inside of our house. No, why would we want to do that? And so how about I build a platform, like sort of branching off like to the side here and extending a little bit of our island here. Now, something to note that's really cool. If you've played with Chip before, you might remember that you have to place down like a workstation to modify blocks. And you got to go back to that workstation to gather more. Not any longer. No, they have now added chisels, or now added like individual items that you can use, and you could just use the station in your inventory. It is so nice now. Look at this. You can just pull this up, making it so much better. They added the ability to search now, and you can actually craft every single one in your inventory. So the chisel mod has become such a nice part of modded. And once you have stuff in here, you actually get a preview too of what textures are basically connected and what's not. So yeah, you can get an idea of kind of what your sort of build is going to look like. And here we go. We get to utilize our balloon on a stick. I'm going to pop down here, and I think I'm going to utilize these massive stone bricks for this. And I'm going to build off the side and also fall. I'm going to build off the side some platforms here. Yeah, this should do the trick. Just kind of varying how big this this whole area is going to be. And so with these two branches, I've ended up with sort of a circular platform that reaches around the side. And it might be a cool idea to like have this platform drop down each step and sort of have a platform that wraps around the bottom. Am I coming up with ideas on the spot? I really do feel like I am. I'm excited for this actually. So let's go ahead and get these platform bases figured out. Now, as I'm laying in this stone, I was wondering, is the wands mod updated? Doesn't look like we have the wands mod, but we do have building gadgets. So now that we have access to power, getting access to building gadgets won't be too far away. So extending, copying these sections, pasting them into new sections is actually going to be quite straightforward. So now let's take a look at our Sterling generator here, right? So let's put our capacitor in here, and we can see we have a fuel slot. As of right now, I don't have any fuel. So let's go grab some of that. And basic fuel can be coal, and I think we can also use lava buckets, which is going to play a pivotal role, I think, in the future of the power gen early on. So for right now, this goes in, and we really can't see how much energy is actually being generated at this current rate. It like doesn't tell us right here. But going off of old wikis, we should be generating more than 120 RF per tick from this one generator, believe it or not. So with that base modifier going up a little bit higher, that should be the case. And I think this generator can produce up to, I think, 240, depending on how high that base modifier is. Now, from one coal, we end up producing about 115,000 FE. It does say UI, but there's a bunch of different naming conventions for regular power, forge energy, also referred to as FE, in this pack. And you can see just one coal produced 115,000 of it. That's actually quite a bit for just a single piece of coal. But something I wanted to try out, can we supply this with a bucket of lava. Well, let's go ahead and make a basic fluid tank from Mechanism. This is very, very handy, by the way, because you can hold shift and you can scroll wheel and you can put it into bucket mode. So it's essentially a bucket or a 32 capacity bucket, essentially. And I want to take this bucket down to ground level because I did find some lava that was just right over here. So I kind of want to check on my villagers. Hey, look, we already have a single villager in here ready to go. That's been produced. Very nice. And there's 2 babies waiting along the line. So here it is. It was just on the top there of that mountain whenever I was mining for a little bit of iron. And here we go. So pop down here and I can right click this to collect lava from this pool. And it's just so nice that we can just fill this entire tank with lava this way. Now, just be careful when you place it down to switch it back out of bucket mode. So that way, yeah, we could use an actual bucket on it. So let's place that in here. Okay, and so something to note that this fuel slot cannot accept a lava bucket. So it will only burn off of burnable materials. So that's some interesting things to note about at least that power there. There might be a way for us to, for example, use these lava buckets in some generators down the road. These generators do not produce a lot of FE, but it does look like if we upgrade, for example, our furnaces here, we can get all the way up to 256. Oh man, it actually might be beneficial for us to potentially go this route. Wow, can an emerald generator really generate that much? Oh yeah, we'll definitely come back to that generator here in the future. So let's dive a little bit deeper into Ender.io, right? So Ender.io has a couple of other machines that we're going to need to kind of use to sort of progress and make other components. And that is the alloy smelter. And like I said, dark steel, you can definitely loot. That way you don't have to go through the very basic primitive alloy smelter. So I have a bunch of that. And then we're going to also make the sag mill. That is going to be the other machine that, in my opinion, is definitely worth making. And so directly next to our Stirling generator here, bam, get those placed in. And they're not going to work, by the way, until we have a capacitor in the slot. Oh, and is this like our first? Oh, wow. Okay, so I guess the Stirling generator has not been updated yet, but this is like an example of the future here. Look at that. The whole GUI has changed. Man, I'm just so excited to see what this mod is going to look like in the future. Now, actually, something I want to try, instead of having our Stirling generator here, using a basic capacitor bank like this, and then putting the Stirling generator on top of that. So that way, this will store power inside of its buffer. These will also store power in the buffer, but this will extend that buffer. Now, Ender.io is a bit sand, gravel, and clay heavy, much like mini mods were back in its time, and that is still the same today. So we are going to need quite a bit of these basic materials to get started. So for most of the conduits, it's going to require this conduit binder, and this is where that sand, gravel, and clay is used. This is where we actually get into our alloy furnace right here. So this has a couple different modes. It can smelt, and it'll do 3 items at a time, or it can alloy. Now, as of right now, we just want to do the furnace, but there is a smart mode that will kind of know what you're doing. But look how fast this is with this capacitor. It's honestly doing 3 at a time and very, very quick. And then over on this side, if we basically sag down some sand or grind down some sand, we will get silicon. And in this, it's kind of set up to integrate with applied energistics, but it's actually a core mechanic and a part of getting our first basic alloys for getting cabling and piping and all kinds of other fun stuff. So this is where the fun starts to happen. So now we can start to alloy things together. We have a copper alloy. So this is the copper alloy ingot, and then this will be used to combine to make the conductive alloy. This will allow us to have an energy conduit where we can then send power around. And this means that we could get into another type of generator to help sustain these while they're running constantly. So let's go ahead and make that conductive alloy. So just toss this in, and then that's going to start getting produced. And for 3, we get 8 of these energy conduits. Now, there's another type of conduit within Ender.io that is really nice, and that is the item conduit, of course. Now, this does use pulsating. We actually have some from looting, so I do recommend it, which does cost an ender pearl and iron smelted in the same way. But if I go ahead and I just grab a few of the nuggets, we can get ourselves some item pipes. Very, very handy. And the cool part about Ender.io, and this is like one of the big foundations of this mod, is the fact that we can have these power conduits, right, that are running the power to these machines. And then we can also have this, right, where we have multiple cables in the same block space. And on top of that, it's all 100% configurable. So we have insert and extract on here. We also have different redstone configuration modes. And then on the item pipe, we have individual channels and everything. So they have conduit channels that are based on colors. And if you're colorblind, there's different identifiers that are inside of the actual colors themselves, which is really handy. And so that means that we can have, for example, a brown channel that is over here on the insert. And that means any of the green extracts won't actually go into that brown channel. Instead, it would wait until there was an extract that had a brown channel associated with it on the same channel line, allowing for some really nice logistics. And another little nifty thing is by default, you don't have to worry about placing your cable and having them automatically start routing items around, even though the extract is automatically on. And that's because by default, the insert is not on. So you can see right here, I'll place both of these. The extract is turned on, but you won't have any items routing around until you click this button. So right now we don't have anywhere to send items, but if we did, we'd place that in. And then this also has automatic round robin. And now these two slots down here are going to be for filters. So you have these basic filters and advanced filters. And then you also have another slot for a speed upgrade. And from here, you can see there are different tiers of speed upgrades. So we could set all of this up and just run everything off of a couple of barrels if we really wanted to. So I could have an input barrel right here that also then sends the items back into here, routing from the back. I could also use the GUI within the machine itself to, for example, say pull and push, because these machines, by the way, will auto push pull, and they will also do send and receive from the same inventory. Pretty darn cool. And then also when you're trying to break a pipe, just look at the one that you want to break, and you can see I was just able to extract my item conduit. Man, sometimes it feels good with the classic stuff just still shining today. Okay, so we have processing, we have some alloying, and we also have some cool crushing. But where's the true power reside early game for Ender.io? With that, I want to introduce you to the Enchanter. This has got to be one of the most powerful early game devices that you can make. And the reason being is because you can create enchanted books just using some basic resources. And that includes one of the most powerful enchants known to man, Fortune. And what's this going to cost you? Well, just simply 27 levels and a couple of diamonds and a couple of lapis with a book and quill. And so using our levels that we've basically gotten from our quest and doing a little bit of mining, there we have it. We now have Fortune 3, and this thing can make more than just this, right? So yeah, you can make all kinds of enchants in this. Want efficiency and looting? Yeah, this thing will do it. So just like that, we now have Fortune 3 on our pick, and things are really starting to look good from this point. So let's go back to that generator that we were looking at earlier from advanced generators, right? There was a generator going up to the emerald tier that can take solid fuel, right? It can take burnable materials, including lava from what it looks like, and it can produce some power from it. And it looks like it can do a burn rate of 256 FE per tick, which is really great for something that doesn't seem all that expensive. Now, I think, though, the hard part comes in the cost of figuring out how to automate this with lava buckets, right? And I think it's very possible now that we have Ender.io conduits to do that. So voila, we now have an emerald generator. Look at that. And so just to make sure this can accept a lava bucket, let's go ahead and see. Yeah, that can be placed in. Now let's go ahead and try this out as well. Notice it did leave the bucket back in there. Are we able to pull and push this? So to test this out, this is how I would go about this, by the way, is I would go